Welcome back to my spiritual experience with your host, myself, Brother Sadiq. Today, thought came across my mind about why so many of the people are so far off course, right? I mean, this extends into many avenues and aspects of life when I say this. The show is about spirituality always, and in my opinion, all roads and all things lead to spirituality. Science is proving this. Quantum physics, quantum mechanics, all of these things are in due time going to be very provable facts. So I'll accept that I'm ahead of the game when I say all things lead to spirit. And one of the things I want to talk about is s- some of these social epidemics that we are dealing with. I'm sorry, excuse me. And I mean things like depression, what they call seasonal affect disorder. It's just another form of depression, right? These are not, I won't say that because that's being disrespectful to people who are diagnosed as such. So, but there are so many, uh, I would say, imbalances in the personages of so many of the people in America due to what are these meds? They're called psych meds, right? They take medications for all of these, anxiety, depression, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's, of course, a very lucrative business for those who sell these products. But because this show is about spirituality, I'm sure you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is the idea and the growing belief that I personally have that you know um, a large majority of these um, mental and emotional imbalances and quote unquote illnesses, in my opinion, are forms of spiritual imbalance. That is my belief. And that is, I think, founded in uh, many areas of study that I've looked into about the nature of our being, ourselves, our souls. So, most of us are living in a situation where we're not allowed to, actually be ourselves, right? Not really actually able to express our fullest self, you know, most of the time. We have, hate to say it, but most of us have adjusted our lives to accommodate the people in our lives, in our circle, in our community. And I mean this from the workplace to the family to the neighborhood. So many people have influence, and we even give these people influence outside of our own influence. So this is that's a broad idea in the general idea of what I'm trying to express when I talk about these emotional imbalances and these psychological and mental imbalances being spiritual imbalances. It's a matter of being true to yourself and the time that you can actually spend discovering the real ultimate purpose of your life, right? There is, in my opinion, and in most people who have a measure of wisdom about life, soul, spirit, purpose, there is a theme, there is an agenda, there is a purpose to your life. And so I cannot say what that is, but to each soul, there is an individual purpose. As they say, to each soul, there are individual gifts. There are things that are more special about you in certain ways that are, you know, less special about me. You're more apt to do a thing like how many, there are people who are not comfortable with public speaking, right? There the argument about the comfort with public speaking or death, right? You've heard this before. Like people would rather die than be, you know, forced to public speak. So I'm comfortable speaking publicly, and that's something that I intend to do more of. But someone else may not be comfortable speaking publicly. I am totally uncomfortable in the tech world. So it's something I have to train myself to do because I know it's something that I fear doing. And it's not, I wouldn't say fear, but that I'm uncomfortable with, that I'm not versed in, that it's new to me and it's something I have to learn, and it takes a level of patience, and I want to ask other people, but I'm so tech tarded. I don't want to waste anybody's time. And that's probably the terrible thing to say even about myself. Anyway, sorry for that. But the point being, I don't know tech so well. So because I don't, there is an intimidation factor with that. Right. Okay. Some other person may not like to read. So there's an intimidation factor with reading in public or aloud, or, different things that we have that you're better at than I am, and things that I'm better at than you are. And so I think these are like associative traits that we could pay attention to in our lives that tell us the theme of our life, the direction, the intention, the purpose for our individual life. Like the theme of the argument of, what is the purpose of life? This is what philosophers do. What is I consider myself a philosopher. Yes, I think very deeply. That's KRS-One. That's back in the day. Anyway, yes, I'm a philosopher. I think very deeply. Anyway, point being, so yeah, I have my ponderances in the reality and the existence in life and that of why we're here and all of those. So I consider myself a philosopher. I have my own philosophies. I have those that I share with other people who consider themselves philosophers, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's not really, that's not here nor there, as they say. But the point being, we all have a theme to our life. We have a purpose. We have a reason for being here. Each soul has a goal, an agenda, and a purpose for being here. I don't know what it is. That's your job, right? That's the reason for us being here. But because most of us don't accept that fact, don't delve into that reality, won't, or don't have time. I mean, I don't mean to indict people when I say most of us, this, that, or that. What I'm saying is the way that the society is set up, the way that social organization, the structure of this society, the 8-hour job, the 40-hour work week, the school system set up, all of these things that create the structure of America, of our society, are factors that are at play in our perception of ourselves. And I would hope that's a commonly understood thing that we could all accept. So the fact that, I live in a certain environment, it affects my perception of the world. Okay. Especially if I never am, privy to leave that environment and only ever see that environment, and there are many of those in the world, whether it be in the rural parts of the world in America or in the urban parts of America. Cats ain't never been off the block. Brother ain't never been off the farm. So either way, the fact of the matter is, if we don't begin to delve into the why of our own individual life, then I believe that is what leads to some of these anxieties, these emotional imbalances, these depressions that we enter into. And the fact of the matter is that most of us don't even recognize that that's a part of life experience that is way more important than our job. And of course, yeah, well, I can't live without no money. I can't live without whatever the things that I need from a job. Yes, we all understand that. Okay, I'm 50 years old. Yeah, I'm working on my, long dollars for the long haul as well. So I understand the facts necessary to, you know, secure your life and the importance of it. But in realistic time, if we're gonna be really real with ourselves, right? If we really trying to get there, if we're not just gonna bullshit ourselves and, you know, make excuses for why we did not get or grow or become what it is that we'd like to be, right? Or share into the world what we'd like to share, right? All of these things are internal battles that we have as individual souls and people, as the story of life, right? So it comes down to, what are you looking at as most important? And if you are not understanding that your soul's development is one of the most important aspects of your life, even further than your career, that's a worldly thing. Like they say, just watch some of these videos about people on their deathbed. They don't, it's not their career, it's the relationships, it's the things that they wish they had done, that the gifts in their soul, the callings on their spirit, the nagging in their mind that they needed to bring something out of themselves, share it into the world, put it into the world, and they did not do it. Those are what we find to be the regret of the human being, the human soul, when it comes down to those end days, those last days, that those last minutes. Like they say, a billionaire give you, all of his money if he could get another week out of his life. Right? He on his deathbed, he know it's over. They say, hey man, like, you're gonna be out of here in the next 30 minutes. Hey man, I'm a billionaire. I can give you, if I can give you all of this money, would you take, hey, I can pay you this, keep me alive for another week. That's not how it works. So yeah, I want $1 billion too. I want $1 billion so I can fund every beautiful dream that I think would transform this world into God's kingdom with the immediacy. Right? I don't want it for me. I don't want shiny things. I do. I want some shiny. I want some things. I won't say I want. I live in a world. I live in a physical world. So yeah, I want some things too. I want some luxury, abundance, wealth, and money for myself. But the point being, that would be, what most people think it's about, but it's not. It's about the relationships you have with other people, the development of your own spiritual self, understanding how you can take it to its highest level of development. Like I said, if you look around on any form of spiritual, where the highest of these spirit, Jesus walked on water, right? Right. I got to explain this too deeply. The mystical and magical capabilities that a human can attain to when they reach for the highest parts of their spiritual selves, right? So you can reach down low to the lowest parts of yourself, or you can reach up high to the highest parts of yourself, and it's just a matter of what you want to do. And so what I'm saying is, what's happened to most of the people and why we have these social anxieties, these high numbers of depression, etc., people removing themselves from the planet in the harshest of ways, you know what I mean? Self deletions and things like that. That is all due to the inability to express their spiritual self, their inability to understand that aspect of themselves. Our world does not teach us anything about this. If you don't go and search these things and find them and study them and practice them and put them in your own life and implement them and see how they make you feel and transform and grow you and all of whatever you gain from it or don't gain from it, your life should be an experiment, right? You should be like a scientist practicing, studying, trying things to see what makes you better, what makes you more, what makes you greater than you were yesterday, today, right? That's That's what life is about. And what happens is we get jobs. Our parents say, get this job. You know, you got people who go through school, they go do everything along the course of what society says you should. They graduate, get the 4.0, get all of the great everything, accolades, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a whatever society or mom, judge, whatever, you know, they a judge, they're a mayor, whatever position that you gain that society says is this great thing. Yet so many people still feel something inside of them missing, something unfulfilled, some calling that is not going to be fulfilled unless they understand what it is that the calling is, what's calling them, right? If you don't understand that the purpose of your life is not your body, it's not your physical, it's not your outside, it's not your show to the world, it's not what the people see of you, it's not what you look like to the people, to the world. It's actually about what's going on inside of you and how these things make you feel when you interact with them. And what they call alchemy or spiritual alchemy or alchemizing an experience within yourself to understand its value, its detriment, its ultimate worth to your ultimate being is what this life is about, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. Okay, you can be at work, you got to have a job, of course, but there's still the experience of relationships with the people at work. Are you a punk at work? Are you scared to say what you need to say because of your job? Right? You understand what I'm saying? So these things lead into who you become as a character, who your personage is. If you allow your fear of your job, if you allow your fear of losing your job, if you allow the fear of peers, the family, your wife, your husband, your children, if you allow judgments and other people's perceptions of you to guide who you are, then these are the things that I, in my personal belief, begin to cause the anxiety, because you are not expressing into the world as your true self. You're hindering you're barring parts of your own internal self. You're limiting your own personal being. You're not expressing the reality of yourself. I'm gonna say this, and the reason I'm saying this is because these are things that I mean, everything that I'm telling you, this is like this whole my spiritual experience TV show, you know, blog, whatever you want to call this, right? It is a personal advice channel for myself, right? So every one of these videos I'll go back and watch and be like, man, that was some great advice, right? So these are things that I am processing through, and I imagine that other souls are as well. So that's why I share these things, right? Yeah, I go through, like I said, there was I just, if you were watching a couple of days ago, I made a video talking about how I hadn't made videos because I was going through a state of alchemizing myself, the emotions of the sadness that can come when you look at the world. There's a state of depression that can set in if you focus on how many things are out of balance, people process, you have to process these things, because you know what they say about emotion, it is energy in motion. And if you don't allow yourself the room, the freedom, the space to process the energy of the emotion that you're dealing with, that you're encountering, that you're experiencing, then you're not going to, generally speaking, handle that expression of emotion in the best way, in the healthiest way, in the most functional way. So when we live in a society that is so it is so censored, right? Everything is censored. Everything is, our world has been so censored. We've begun to self-censor and censor each other. So that's what I'm saying. So all of these censors are 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 limitations of your freedom. There you are. And so with all of these different avenues from your family and their judgments and opinions of who you are and who you should be, to your employer, their idea, judgments, and an assessment of who you should be, their expectations of you, your family's, your children's expectations of you, your parents' expectations of you, your lovers' expectations of you, society's expectations of you. Expectations damn near equal judgments. And so with all these expectations slash judgments running around in your head about who you are, who you need to be, and who you need to represent, what you need to show to the world, all of these different things and aspects of self that you're supposed to be expressing are not being expressed. They're being suppressed, causing anxiety, causing depression, causing sadness, lack of expression. Express yourself. That's what you got to do. You have to get it out. You have to figure out what it is that you're not expressing. You have to figure out what it is that you're bottling up, that you're hiding, what aspect of yourself. Look, if they put something in the water, a lot of cats is what they say, DL, right? Down low. They put something in the water and they what they call it, is it atrazine? They call it. And they said it made the frogs turn into boys and the girls and the boys and the girls and the girls and the boys and all that stuff like that. So I'm just saying. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. That's a censored thing right there. Oh, you said that. What, you ain't supposed to say that? So I'm saying, fuck this world, man. I'm just saying, if we don't begin to apply into this world, into this atmosphere, into this ether, into this universe, our own spiritual concepts, beliefs, powers, effects, then you go ahead and sit down and let them do what they're going to do, and you'll be a wind and a leaf in the wind as the world moves around you, shifts, and you don't understand what's going on, why it's going on, where you'll be, what you should be doing, and just remain in a state of being lost, which leads to more anxiety and more depression and more of the things that, everybody taking pills for. So, yeah, this is about the aspects of your being, yourself. You are not just physical. You are not just the body. You are not just your cool clothes, your nice car, and your nice house. I hear cats, man, I heard a dude on the show say, oh, yeah, he just wanted a house and a car and, peace in the house. And that's fine. That's acceptable. But that's some bullshit. I'm going to tell y'all what that's bullshit. Even if you get a house and a car and a bank account and you can go from here to there, what, you think that's the height of your being? You think that's the height of your personage? You think that's the height of what you can produce in the world? It is not. It is not. I'm going to tell you it is not. And the reason that it's bullshit is because that is how they've limited your effect, our effect, humanity's effect in the world. You're contented. That was the goal. If I can get this motherfucker a house and a car and he can take some trips and get some loving and get a little high or drink or whatever, put pills, cocaine, whatever thing they need, then we can sedate them. We can keep them so chill that they ain't gonna never try to keep working towards something better and growing into becoming something different than they were before, and the next year and the next year. And now I'm a master of something, right? Maybe it ain't a being a master of something. They say a jack of all trades is what they say. What's to say? Oh, I'm a jack of all trades. Okay. Jack of all trades, master of none. Generally better than the master of one. So, hey, be a jack of all trades, but keep learning, keep growing, keep building, keep working towards a vision, an idea, a goal, a perception of the reality, even if it's just for your own personal life. But there is also the idea of what you do affects the world. So You can even have a perception and a perspective of what you think the world should be like. Like, I have that. And we ain't finna go into it right now, but I'm just saying your perception of yourself and other people's perception of you are doing battle inside of you. Generally, the world outside wins because we're not willing to, you know, uncover that which is hidden. We're not willing to be our truest self. We're not willing to live from our heart. We're not, we live from a very calculated place in our mind. How they gonna see me? How they gonna perceive me? How they gonna do the, do this, do. You constantly calculating. The mind is constantly calculating. But the spirit is connected to the broader understanding of the whole of the universe. The whole of the universe is guided through the heart. There are neurons in your heart. So I'm just saying, man, if you're not gonna live from your heart, you're gonna constantly be calculating, and that's why you can't understand intuition. Intuition is that thing that's pulling you from your gut, that gut feeling, that. Yeah, I usually do it this way, but something telling me don't do that. I usually will walk this way, but something said go the other way, go the long way today, or take the other shortcut, right? So this is intuition, and most of us fear living and walking and moving off of our intuition because our mind is constantly recalculating and recalibrating that which the spirit gives you. So when they say that first instinct and you get that gut feeling and it tells you what to do, and then you sit there 30 seconds, 45 minutes too long, and then your mind get to going, you get to calculating that thought. Well, I don't know about this, about that, about this, about that, about this, about that. And then you get rational, and your rational mind takes over, and the spiritual mind get pushed out the way because it's a choice. It's always going to be a choice. So if you keep choosing based on 2 + 2 = 4, I'm trying to get this money. They looking at me funny. Whatever you got going on in your head, you understand what I'm talking about. These are the things that's causing you anxiety. These are the things that's causing you depression. These are the things that's causing you all of these issues that you're having that are due to social experience because you're not really being who you're born to be. You're not expressing yourself as your true soul. You're expressing yourself as your made up matrix version of who you think you need to be for the world, for your family, for your girl, for your homeboys, for whoever in the world you think you need to show up as for them. That's who you're being, and that's causing anxiety. You're not being yourself. You're not being who your heart is attempting to show you to be. You're afraid of it. Most of us are. So, intuition is the way that you're going to get yourself beyond that. And the only way you're going to begin to be able to trust your intuition is to be a good person, right? Just flat out, no more lying, no more stealing, no more cheating, no more manipulating, no more nickel slick thinking, no more I'm a hustle, or I'm gonna keep the extra 5. Oh, they didn't know I made $6 on that. Oh, here go an extra 30 for me. Oh, they don't know about this extra 400. So all of these little things that you know what I'm talking about, the unrighteous little aspects of society, that little white lies and the little hustles and the little nickel slick bullshit that y'all do think it's getting over and you're winning. It's not. The righteous man who puts forth an effort to do a righteous thing gets the good for the deed of the righteousness that he intended when he did it. Even though you may say he a suck ass nigga, he let that motherfucker do that. He do that to him. I mean, he using him. You can say all that because the one who's saying that gonna get the equation for that as well, right? That is what karma is. Karma ain't bad. Karma is reciprocity. Okay? If I give out good, I'm gonna get back good. If I give out shady, I'm gonna get back shady. If I'm looking at the world from the perspective of, you know what I'm saying? Or trusting that, you see what I'm saying? All of that. That's all what karma is. What you give out, you get back. So I intend to give out love. I intend to give out as much of my heart to this world before I leave as possible. So what I get back is what I get back. And that's what this world is for me. But I'm telling y'all, if you don't begin to recognize the importance of your spiritual living, your spiritual experience, your life as a soul, your intuition, then you ain't gonna be able to navigate this. It's full of mirrors. It's a Here we go, Linda Moulton Howe again. It's a 12-layer chess game inside of a house of mirrors. So your intuition is going to be your best guide through. So righteousness is the basis for you even being able to trust your intuition. But if you a shady nickel slick, then that little voice that is your intuition is probably tainted and telling you, yeah, get him. Yeah, hustle him. Yeah, rob her. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So your base good heart is what you need for the times. And with the base good heart, then you can utilize your intuition as your method of walking through this plane. And the expression of your truest self from your heart is going to help relieve anxiety and depression, etc. by God's will. By God's will. Not by my words, but by God's will. Try living from your truest self. Fuck them. Whoever they is, who you gotta be this for or be that for, or whatever, it's causing you anxiety. It's causing you depression. It's causing you all of this because you're not being who you need to be. And when you recognize it, that's where the depression come in. I'm not who I'm not myself. I can't even be myself. I ain't my full myself. Yeah, you feeling sorry for yourself. So God bless. I love you all. But I swear to God, I hope this is some solution to some people. And it's not about denying the reality of the experience of the need for medical attention and drugs and, all of this stuff. But recognize and note that your spiritual experience plays into all of this. All roads lead to spirit. So I am done. That is what I wanted to say. Trust your intuition and try to stay away from those man-made drugs as much as possible. If you have those kinds of conditions and issues, please look up some, earthbound herbal remedies and solutions, ashwagandha, all of these different things that are supposed to be very helpful. Even psilocybin, so they say. So, God be with you all. The heights of your spirit be expressed through your being, and one love, and we're all family. So, let's walk into the next phase together. And please subscribe, please share, and thumbs up this video. I'd appreciate it. And as I say always, and as I will always believe, all roads lead to spirit. One love, fam.